Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me again for another TBR game. Today we're going to do it a tiny bit differently. Actually, we're just adding something. My October has been very busy so far. I haven't been posting. I'm super behind on my reading, but I'm much more behind on anything that I wanted to do for Booktube. I know that you're still waiting for my wrap up from last month, my balancing the shelves, and October is almost over. I still have so much footage that I need to organize, go through. So I need some things to be a little bit more efficient. So today we are doing readathon announcement plus TBR game plus potentially some readathon recommendations for the prompts. My TBR game consists of picking ducks from the little pond here. Usually there's like a motor that everything goes round, but I think the batteries are gone and I cannot be bothered to replace them right now. And on the bottom are colors representing different genres. And by different genres, I mean different types of books. I clustered them in genres that I wanted to know. We have green for an arc, purple for historical fiction, orange for fantasy, black for sci-fi ethnofuturism, red for contemporary, and yellow for something out of my comfort zone like horror, short stories, nonfiction, etc. If I don't complete one of these colors, I have to do a punishment, and these punishments take me out in the world, and you can watch these wonderful videos of me completing these challenges in that playlist that I'm gonna link up there. It's a lot of fun and you should definitely enjoy it. And you should definitely enjoy it. Yeah, you should, but I'm sure that you will. I feel like a lot of people that regularly come to my channel enjoy these videos the most. And then after picking a color, I have these wonderful cards that my friend Adi drew for me, and they give me a prompt to combine this genre with. Adding to that, we're trying to then today fill these prompts combined with a genre either with one of the books that I already have picked out that I want to read for one of the book clubs, for my because it's this one is something that I got sent by the publisher. This one is a book from the Traveling Book project that needs to move on. So these are just books that are already on my TBR for November. And as you can see, my pile is a little bit lower than usual because my November still will be full of work stuff. And then I have these nonfiction books that I want to read for nonfiction November, and all of these are relevant to my work. And so I want to read them all. Anyways, let's get to some readathon details and what I'm trying to factor into this TBR. I am so lucky to be co-hosting a readathon that is based on the Descendant series by Disney. The Descendants is a series where we are meeting kids of famous Disney characters, and we have villains and heroes, and we are looking at their kids. Now in this readathon we have two teams. One is the villain kids and one is the hero kids. And obviously, if you know anything about me, I'm a brand. I obviously am team villain because anything evil is just, I'm just drawn to the dark side. We have a co-host for each of the 4 characters that are in the movies and series. Basically, I think there's a few more, but these are like the main characters. And there are 4 prompts for each of the characters. So for each of the co-hosts and characters, we have 1 prompt, and we have a group book. So each team has 4 prompts and 1 group book, and all you need to do is read 1. It is a month-long readathon that goes from November 1st, your time zone midnight, to November 31st. Because there's a November 31st. Wake up, Cece. In my books, there's a November 31st for some reason. No, it's November 30th, midnight your time. So I'm not going to go over all of the readathon details. There's a couple of videos already out there, and I'm going to link them below by my lovely co-host. They're explaining all the details, but pretty much it's a team challenge where 2 teams are fighting each other. At the end of the November, we want to know who has gathered the most coins. And there's no thievery in there. We cannot steal coins. as I'm representing Jay, that makes me sad. We can get coins by completing prompts or completing optional challenges. There's a list of optional challenges. Again, check out the videos of my lovely co-hosts for this. And there's a lot of different prompts. And again, check out my co-hosts' videos for all the details. But basically, you have 4 prompts for each team and you have 1 group book for each team, and each gets 20 points, and you can double up. You can have 1 book that fits all prompts. It gets coins for each prompt, and you can repeat and do them as many times as you want. So if you're a big reader and you're really ambitious, you can get unlimited coins for the team. So if you are, please join a team villain to to help us win, because I won't be able to read as much in November. But now let's find out what we're going to be reading. I have the 4 prompts in front of me. The group book that we're going to be reading is Peter Darling. It is a Peter Pan retelling, which is not completely my cup of tea, but it's supposed to be with LGBTQ rep, and it's supposed to be a little bit darker, and that is my cup of tea. So especially the darker part. So I'm kind of intrigued to see what it is. And it's not a big book, I think, from what I've seen. It's like 200 pages or something. So we will definitely read that as well. Imagine that on top here. Yeah, so let's see if we can find books for the 4 prompts that I am trying to fulfill. The 4 prompts are villain point of view or a morally gray character, epilepsy, disorder or disability rep, not just a pretty cover, and a heist setting. For each draw, I will go and check if I can find things that would cover these prompts. So this is where this potentially becomes a recommendation video. So let's see. Let's get to drawing. Oh yeah, this game ends as soon as I draw the second green duck, because I want to at least have 2 arcs on my TBR. My main focus this year and next year is to get rid of my physical books, and because I have like 400 books in my bookshelf that I haven't read that I need to get rid of. But I also want to improve my response for like anything arc, so I'm working on that too. All right, let's get the first ducky. I want some music, and the music is broken, that the battery is empty. So the first draw. And the first one is Orange, which is a fantasy. Now let's draw what we're going to have to complete this with. Super hyped for it. Ooh, okay. That should be easy. So a fantasy that I'm super hyped for definitely is Oathbringer. I don't know if that covers any of the prompts. Does it have a villain POV? I don't know. I think it might. I do think that it fits the prompt, not just a pretty cover. Is Dread Nation a fantasy? I think so. Or is it sci-fi? Okay. Ich gehe mal researchen und dann geht's weiter. So here are some books that would fit a fantasy that I'm hyped for. And one of the prompts that we have in the DescendAthon readathon. So for Brandon Sanderson, as I said, this could be not just a pretty cover, because I really do like this cover, but I also think that there's so much in here. Or you could say it's not just a pretty cover, it's also a really big book of 1,200 pages or something. And this has potentially, I'm pretty sure that this has a villain point of view, but at least it does have morally gray characters. Then Patrick Rothfuss, The Wise Man's Fear, definitely has a villain point of view as well. I'm not sure if it has a heist or thievery. Potentially, I could see this having some thievery in there. Super hyped for this. I love the first one. Then this one I'm supposed to be reading, like I was told to read this so many times that I'm so hyped up. And it just says on the very, like here it says, delightfully twisted and evil. If this doesn't have a villain point of view or morally gray characters, I don't know how they do twisted and evil, but I don't know. And I'm also assuming potentially some thievery in there. Like, how could they not? And then when I looked up heist fantasies, this one has been on my shelf for the longest time. Also, I do think that these two also both would go for not just a pretty cover. I enjoy both. And this one definitely has some thievery in there. Does it have morally gray character, I don't know. And then last but not least, I am still trying to finish this by the end of October, and this is potentially a little bit more science fiction, but it's also tagged as fantasy. And also, again, not just a pretty cover, and it came up as... Did it come up as... I think it came up as morally gray character / villain point of view included, or... Was it a heist? I don't remember. Just forget this one, I guess. And then there's also an Illusion of Thieves that has included a thief or a heist that I'm super pumped for. I also would love to continue the Gentleman Bastard series, which I'm sure covers villain point of view and potentially thievery or heist, because definitely in the first book we had them. But I also have 3 arcs that would potentially cover this. 2 of them are already released, and one of them is going to have their book birthday in November, and I'm considering picking this one for this prompt. The first one is The Last Graduate. I'm about to read the first book, A Deadly Education. I heard very mixed reviews, but again, definitely assuming villain point of view or morally gray characters. Then we have Little Thieves. If Little Thieves doesn't have thievery and or a heist in it, what is the title even doing? And then the third and the last one that is going to be released this month in November is All of Us Villains. And yeah, I'm super pumped about this. So for this one, I'm either going to pick All of Us Villains or Oathbringer, and I'm going to decide this at the end of this video, depending on how many of these books I was able to put in or how many extra pages I would be adding, because I need the option to either stay on this pile or add on to this. So let's see how many other books I have to add. All right, this goes back, and pick a number 2. Come on. Orange again. Okay. I would prefer some sci-fi. I want some sci-fi or historical fiction, but fantasy is good. Fantasy is good. Okay, what are we going to do with fantasy this time? Wild card. I can read whatever I want. Okay. Let's just stick with the same selection then, I guess. This one could be considered fantasy, but I think it's more sci-fi as well. So we're just gonna stick with the same selection, I guess. We're not gonna start a new series. So as much as I really want to read you and you, I don't want to put another brick on my TBR. So for this one, we're going to do Oathbringer again, or The Last Graduate, or Little Thieves. Which one? Let's just pick one of those. The Last Graduate has come. So The Last Graduate would be also a sequel, which is an optional challenge. So let's go for either Oathbringer or The Last Graduate. So far this is going well with books that I need to read and books that I want to read, and not getting too high. Well, if we don't start picking green soon, we might still get too high. And orange again! Are you kidding me? I would just wanted to say let's stick with it. With the selection that we talked about, but I still need to find a prompt. Okay. Let's just go with this one. Cultural background other than my own. Ooh, okay. I think with fantasy that is sometimes hard to determine if it's not very, very clearly based on a different culture. Let me go through my books and get back to you. Oh, well, let's look at some more options, and I'm super pumped for all of them. So Dread Nation is fantasy, potentially sci-fi. It's like a zombie thingy. It's also historical fiction, so I'm super pumped for this. And it plays in the Civil War USA era, and I believe that the main characters are people of color, so that is considered a cultural background other than my own, which is already on this pile. But I also have 2 more that I actually quite recently acquired, and I'm super hyped for them. And both of them also get the Not Just a Pretty Cover award, I'm pretty sure. This one also is called Midnight Robber, and with robber in the title, I'm assuming we are getting thievery, heist kind of vibes. Super hyped for this one. And then Everfair is about is reimagining some parts of the disastrous colonization of the Congo by Belgium. And I do believe that colonization is thievery, right? So I don't know. And King Leopold II definitely is a morally gray evil character, but I don't know if we have a villain point of view in this one. I kind of doubt it. For this one, I don't know either, but both could. This one could potentially have a morally gray character and slash villain point of view, but I doubt it for these 2. I'm super pumped for both of them. Let's go for Dread Nation. If we don't get another prompt that fits Dread Nation. Pick number 4, and now let it be green. Let it be green. We need to start picking some green. Or at least something other than fantasy. I mean, I'm not complaining, I love reading fantasy, but I like to mix up my TBR a little. All right, it is I Choose You. Yellow. Out of my comfort zone, which means romance, short stories, non-fiction. We have several non-fictions there. Non-fiction will probably make it hard to cover one of the prompts though. Horror. Potentially this could kind of count as out of my comfort zone because it's horror as well. And we have From My Wish List. Oh no, oh no, 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 because that means I am not allowed to already own it. Out of my comfort zone from my wish list. Now this is hard. This is hard. Let's see if we can find anything that also covers one of these. Hey, hey! We don't even need to get up and do some research. Peter Darling, which is the group book for the DescendAthon, definitely is out of my comfort zone because it's a retelling of a fairy tale that I am not really into. That is totally out of my comfort zone. And if I have to go and get a book for my November TBR, let it be the group book. That sounds perfect. All right, pick number 5. Actually, Coffee Over Apples, you wanted to give me some video recommendations for out of my comfort zone for like horror. I'm still waiting for that. I'm pumped for that. As soon as I have that, I want out of my comfort zone recommended by my friend. Okay, I pick you. This is so much more fun with the water actually flowing. It's another out of my comfort zone. Okay, maybe we can make one of those non-fiction fitted. I think actually some of the non-fiction could potentially fit the Not Just a Pretty Cover. Okay, so what are we doing? We are doing a new to me author. Oh, all of these are. All of these are, I believe. I think I've already read something by David Kelly. Don't even see the author on here. Like a publicist or something. It's like a group of people or something. So all of these go for Not Just a Pretty Cover. Out of my comfort zone, Not Just a Pretty Cover. We have the Design Thinking Toolbox. I love this cover. It's very descriptive and very colorful and very descriptive. What am I saying? It's, yeah, I'm super hyped for this one. Then we have the Great Mental Models. I also really love this cover. I also love how they did the chapters where it's like a thicker material, like cardboard, and the pages are shorter, and this is like the start of a chapter. And because it's that way, it's very easy to find the chapter starts. It's genius and I love it. Not my favorite cover, so I do want to read both. But let's go the design thinking toolbox because I'm mostly pumped for this one. So out of my comfort zone, a new to me author, and covering not just a pretty cover because come on, look at it. That's awesome, right? I choose you. And it is purple, historical fiction. So for historical fiction, I believe this one at the very bottom is historical fiction. And Dread Nation is considered historical fiction. This one is also really pretty cover. What are we doing with historical fiction? We're doing title with 3 or less words. That one's out, that one's in. Let's do some more research. Okay, after going through what it feels like all of my 400 books, these literally are the only options because I couldn't find any historical fiction book that I already own that covers any of the DescendAthon prompts or more than just a pretty cover. I do think that this is a really pretty cover. It is 4 words in German. In English, it's The Mountain Sings, which is 3 words or less. So I feel like this could potentially count. And Dread Nation would work as well. So I think both are valid options. All right, now let's pick green. Let's pick green, please, because this is number 7. And I pick you. And we have contemporary, red. And with contemporary, I don't think I have, oh yeah, I think this is the girl with the dragon tattoo, would be considered contemporary. And we are doing super hyped for it. Yeah, that's definitely the girl with the dragon tattoo. This is the German version of it. I don't necessarily think that this would be considered not just a pretty cover. I actually think that I wouldn't have picked it because of the cover at all. Does it have representation? I don't know. Does it have heist or a villain POV? I'm pretty sure it has some morally gray characters. All right, pick number 8. Can you even see what I'm doing back here? There it comes. I'm so bad at this. Oh my god, this one does not want to be picked. There we go. Do we have green? Please let it be green. No, it is purple, and we have yet another historical fiction. I really truly enjoy historical fiction right now, but I don't have anything that covers the DescendAthon prompts. So what are we doing? Continuous series with historical fiction? Is that even possible? Do you know of any series that would be considered historical fiction that is like a series? Ha! I found one! I can't believe it, and it's actually one that I really wanted to get to. Oh, okay, this is great. Like a River Glorious is the second in, I don't know what the, what's the name of the whole... It's a historical fiction fantasy, and the first book I adored. It was Walk on Earth, a Stranger. It's about this girl who can sense gold, and this is playing during the gold rush. So interesting combination. I was dying to get to the second one. It was sent out as a traveling book. So I think 2 people read it before me, and there's a lot of comments in here, and I love it, and I really want to get to it. I really enjoyed it, and I think that this could be considered not just a pretty cover. I'm not sure if it has disability representation. I don't think so, but it could be. I don't think it has thievery or heist in it, but I could be wrong, but probably not, just like as a minor plot point. Villainous point of view, definitely not. Morally gray characters, probably the antagonists, potentially, but most likely not. But this is going on my TBR. Now, please let me pick green. Something make me somehow pick green. This is pick number 9. Yellow. No. And we are going to do a friend picks a prompt. Okay, let's see. Okay, I was just asked if we have a live stream today, which is in less than an hour, so we need to go pick some green. And I just asked Anna, who asked me if there's going to be a live stream, if she wants to be the friend that picks a prompt. So I'm waiting for her to reply. And while we're waiting for the reply, we're already going to pick the next one. Okay, so she already answered. And the prompt is a book with mental health representation. Oh, that's good, because that would also cover disability representation. Okay, so now we have to find out of my comfort zone mental health representation. And I already have an idea. So for this one, I will be picking Spectrum Women, Walking to the Beat of Autism. This is a short story slash non-fiction that is written by women who are autistic. I'm really interested in this for very personal reasons that I can't go into further because it's not my story to tell. But yeah, I'm super intrigued, especially because I have heard that women struggle with being diagnosed much more than men. Next, I choose you. Green! Finally! Thank you! Finally! Okay. Okay, so an arc that... Joker! Joker means I can choose whatever arc I want. And we already discussed that some of the arcs that are covering some of the DescendAthon prompts. So I'm most likely going to pick All of Us Villains for this prompt, and then we have Oathbringer for the first one. Pick number 11. I wouldn't mind if the next one is green right away. I pick you. Green! Yes, oh my god, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, okay. Whew. That's already way too many picks, but that's, oh. I am delighted. Delighted, let me tell you. Okay, and the last card is going to be continuous series. Okay, so continuous series with an arc doesn't leave me many options, but I do know that The Last Graduate, we already talked about it. It's the only continuous series arc that I have that also covers DescendAthon prompts. Oh no. Oh wait. Oh, we need to do some switcheroos and introduce one more book because the last two, for the arcs, we picked both of the books that would be replacing Oathbringer, but we can not choose both for arc and then have two prompts covered by Oathbringer. Although, with the amount of pages, I feel like you should cover two books, dear Oathbringer. I think you should. But we have arc and a Joker, and for this one I'm going to be reading Safe Arbor, which is also covering mental health representation, so it is representing a disability. I am absolutely sure that this is not just a pretty cover, and I don't think that this has a villain POV, but it could potentially have some thievery in there because we are following somebody who lives on the street and who has it's a very interesting setup, and I just feel like there could be some thievery along the way. Not again as a major plot point, but as a side thing. I'm pretty sure that our main character might encounter something like this. So that's what we're gonna do. We have 11 books on my TBR game. We have fantasy that I'm super hyped for, that I'm reading All of Us Villains. We have fantasy with a wild card that's going to be Oathbringer. Fantasy with a cultural background other than my own, we're going to be reading Dread Nation for this one. And then out of my comfort zone from my wish list is going to be Peter Darling. Out of my comfort zone with a new to me author is going to be the Design Thinking Toolbox. Historical fiction with 3 words or less is The Mountain Sings. And then a contemporary that I'm super hyped for is going to be The Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. A historical fiction that continues the series is Like a River Glorious, and then another out of my comfort zone that my friend picks the prompt, which then it became a mental health representation, is Spectrum Women, and then an arc with the Joker card is going to be Safe Arbor, and the arc with continuous series is The Last Graduate. And there we have it. Wish me luck. It's more than I wanted, less than I feared in total for my whole total TBR. I think it's going to be manageable, question mark. I fear about the number of pages because of this bad boy, but I think it's doable. I think it's doable. Fingers crossed, because my November is going to be a lot. I don't know how much reading I'm gonna get done. So wish me luck. And in the meantime, watch all my other videos. I'm hoping to get all of the other videos up soon in terms of my wrap-ups and balancing the shelves. And I'm also starting to film some more exciting videos in terms of finding a van, getting rid of all my stuff. So stay tuned for that. I hope to see you again on my channel real soon. Until then, bye!
Just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know